All I hear is talking, I don't sweat that. If they don't trust me either, I respect that. If she be down the ride, oh, I bet that.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is JH. How y'all doing, Postal family? Everybody good? Everybody cool? Everybody clean? Everybody crisp? Everybody irie? Let's talk. But first, I'd like for you guys to check out the other channel that I have with Miss K. Please. I don't ask y'all for nothing, not a ting. I'll leave that information in the pinned comment. Please subscribe. I never ask you guys for anything. This is the one thing that I'm asking you for. Please subscribe. Listen to our foolishness. Give your opinions. It's fun. It's fun. We give some interesting opinions. We're characters. We give it raw. We give it real. I gotta play the anti Miss K. So, check it out. But I'm reading this article, and this article is cutting post office hours, closing plants, and slowing mail accompany growth efforts in USPS break-even plan. This is by your boy DeJoy. What is this dude doing? If you want to stick around to listen to the article, I'm just here to read it, give little bits and pieces of it. I'm not gonna, go through the whole thing, but I gotta go through a couple points. And for any of the managers that sit up top and watch me, there's a part in here for you too. Let's talk. DeJoy sets 10-year timeline to reverse more than a decade of losses at the Postal Service. U.S. Postal Service will raise its prices faster, slow some of the mail delivery, and close some of the facilities as part of business plan, embattled Postmaster General Louis DeJoy said on Tuesday will allow his agency to break even in 10 years. I don't believe it, but sheesh. So we're going to slide down and read some of the stuff that actually, intrigues us. Ooh, buddy. Consolidations. Strategically implement some of the consolidations where facilities remain underutilized. A 2018 Inspector General report found USPS realized just 5% of the $1.6 billion in savings it had projected from its consolidations. The agency successfully shuttered 141 plants in its first phase of its plan. 141 plants. Man. But pulled the plug on the second phase to close an additional 82 plants when it was halfway through. Go to the next one. USPS said it will procure new facilities to accompany the closures, and it's currently evaluating the addition of 45 annex facilities to supplement package and processing capacity near existing centers. So that's why some of the places are becoming annexes. Some of the places, they're calling them S&DCs. They're taking the P and DC out of it. There's a lot of DCs in this, and I have no idea what none of it means. But this is where all of you guys come together and start giving you information like you do in all my other videos and share, so that way people are up to speed on what's really popping. All right? They said some of the facilities would be repurposed. So if you got a raggedy ass facility and you notice that they're not shutting the door, they're gonna actually build and fix it. So don't fret yet. Y'all don't really care about none of this. You just wanna know what's going on with your hours and if you're gonna have a job. Well, according to this, it says you will. It says also the Postal Service can no longer afford to maintain a network that can deliver one piece of mail in 3 days. Whether it's going 300 or 3,000 miles. It delivered less than 88% of mail designated for a 3 to 5 day delivery on time in 2020. Do you know what that means? They're not moving the mail. They ain't moving the mail. Why they ain't moving the mail? It delivered less than 88% of your mail was late, that ain't nobody's fault except for people not getting the mail on the trucks. Cause let me tell you something about trucks, in case you guys didn't know. When mail is on a truck, the truck driver has X amount of hours to go get it delivered. We have X amount of hours to drive it when you're over the road. And 99% of the time, if it's going to a far facility, they have team drivers. So long as the mail is on the vehicle, it's gonna go. It's gonna move. But the mail, which is in the facilities, hasn't been getting moved. My point last time, why are we not moving the mail? Crazy, huh? First class mail would still be delivered within 1 to 3 days. This is interesting. This is interesting. It says USPS expects to cut $58 billion from its projected losses over the next decade through internal self-help management. I'm not sure what that means. Reforms, including both growing revenue and cutting costs. In addition to slowing delivery window and closing plants, USPS plans to trim hours at low traffic post offices, reduce late and extra transportation trips, and cut overall work hours. This applies to us. Okay, so if it says it's going to trim hours at low traffic post offices, that means that the post offices that don't have a lot of traffic going in and out of them, instead of it staying open till 5, they're going to say, you know what, let's close it at 2. Why keep it open till 5? If you only got 2 or 3 people strolling in there. This is where they collect the data. They see those registers. They say, you know what? Between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m., we only got 6 customers. Is it worth us paying the clerks and everybody and the electricity in the building to keep the window open? No. So we're going to cut those if it's not worth it. I understand that. It makes somewhat sense. It says reduce late and extra transportation trips. Late trips. You know where all our late trips come from? As a truck driver, I'm not going to really just spaz on everybody, but I'm going to spaz on everybody because the ones that work there understand this. I got a truck sitting at a door. It's waiting to be loaded. That's it. End of discussion. All right? If there's no mail on it, or you got a manager that comes out and says, hey, we got 4 carriers that are going to be back here in about 15 minutes. Can you wait? Now my mail is late. The mail for my city is all on that truck, but you want me to sit still and wait for 4 carriers that's going to give me 6 pieces of mail? That's the problem. They did not educate these supervisors and managers, because what happens is if a carrier comes back late, you know who got to bring that mail to the plant? Guess who? Either the carrier or the supervisor. So or they want me to sit late, or we have 20 carriers that are not going to make it back on time. Can you send us an extra truck? An extra truck? Really? Do you know how much it costs to pay me to stay in overtime and drive a tractor trailer in overtime? The diesel, everything that's incorporated with that, to go back to a station in overtime just to pick up maybe a GPC worth of mail or APC worth of mail, it's not worth it. Those are the extra trips that they're referring to. And overall work hours. Do we really need the extra overtime? Overtime is awesome. Overtime is great during high volume times. But every single day, our mail volume is getting less and less because our delivery sucks. Why is our delivery sucks? Because of us not getting the mail moved. Right. This is not going on a rant, but I'm explaining what this man is saying because he's a logistics mind. I too am a logistics mind, so I understand this. I don't really care for the man, but nonetheless, he says it's his job to steer the organization forward into a successful position. Yeah, okay. All right. All right. He says it will aim to cut employee turnover. That's good. That means he's trying to stop people from quitting, right? The agency's inability to move its top line workforce number to decrying the agency's inability to move its top line workforce number despite hiring 200,000 employees last year. Hired 200,000 employees last year. The plan calls for cutting turnover of its non-career workforce in half through better opportunities for growth and non-specified improved retention strategies. So what does that mean? That means they're talking about cutting the turnover. I really don't see how that's working, because if you're just a non-career person, you're a PSC, you're an MHA assistant, and they're only giving you, 15 hours a week, turnover means quit, right? How are they trying to keep you if they're only, you can't survive off of that? So I don't understand this statement, but it sounds like bull to me, because if they're telling everybody that they got to cut all their hours, then what? How are we cutting hours and still making this work? And talking about you don't want the turnover. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Whew. All right. It says USPS said it would seek to restrain wage growth, reduce work hours, and automate more tasks. See, I don't like this statement. Did you hear what I just said? I hope you guys are still sticking around. Elsewhere in the plan, USPS said it would seek to restrain wage growth. That means hold down. This is what I'm reading. Restrain wage growth. That means you don't want to give people raises. I don't know. But this is on govexec.com. If anybody wants to read this, maybe I'm not understanding it. Reduce work hours. I understand that. Everybody should be able to make 40 hours a week and be able to live off of it. Pretty much. And automate more tasks. Automate more tasks means the video that I just did yesterday. Automate. Artificial intelligence. Y'all say it couldn't happen. I know a lot of people in the last videos say, oh, no. 15 years ago, they didn't have those robots sorting mail. Talking about letter mail. They didn't have that. And now they have them. It's happening. It's happening right in front of your face. But whatever. The agency is currently in the midst of slashing 60,000 employees off of its roll. Managers, pay attention. Cutting 60,000 employees off of its rolls. Offering early retirement incentives to much of its non-union workforce. Meaning, I'm in the union, you're in the union, a lot of the people that are here are in the union. A lot of the people that are not in the regular union that we refer to are the managers, are the people way up top. Those people, yeah. They're offering early incentives to retire to much of its non-union workforce. DeJoy said he does not have a specific target in mind for its workforce, speculating he could potentially grow the agency by 100,000 employees to meet growing package needs. He added, however, that high turnover rates will likely highlight areas for efficiencies. I won't continue on this yet, but they got new package sorting equipment, new facilities, upgrading the retail locations, new technologies, investments internally. You notice that they're doing this thing with supervisors where they want us to pay to become supervisors. It makes no sense to Jay. None. He tasked his leadership team with developing the plan shortly after taking office, and document took 8 months to piece together. It's foolishness. I honestly don't think that it's a bad plan or a bad idea. I mean, this is a long read. I just don't want to keep going with it. But overall, from what I'm gathering, they want to slow the mail more down than it already is. Makes no sense. They want to cut all the extra overtime hours, and they should to a degree, because I recall about a year ago when people complained, and you can read it through Reddit and all these other places, that they work too much, they work like dogs, too many hours, like slaves, right? Y'all remember that. I'm sure you guys have read it and heard it. Now, if you look and see what's going on, everybody's saying, man, I'm not getting enough hours. Ain't that something? And other people are saying, I need to live off of 50 hours, 60 hours. Technically, we only need to live off of 40 hours a week. But overtime is great because of the stipulations behind it. But I understand what they're talking about with these overtime hours, because it's not like, oh, over 40, you get your overtime. No, it's over 8 hours for the day. So you come in, you work an 8-hour day, and then they keep you on for a couple hours. You made 2 hours of overtime in one day. So yeah, that's hitting them hard upside the head. I understand that from a business standpoint, but as a worker, that's great money. We all want that great money, but what do we do? What do? We look at this as a long-term investment for ourselves. Can we, the worker, sacrifice until they put this thing together? Because a lot of you that watch me are either on your way out that are gonna retire, or a lot of you guys are new. So we don't really have too many people that are in between because they don't want to listen to Jay and his foolishness. But Jay's foolishness is reality because I've lived it going up to this far. We want to see this place thrive, and the people that are there for 10, 15 years are usually the ones that are set in their ways, and they really don't want the change too much, but they're going to encounter it. So if they're accustomed to just coming in, you look for yourself. You guys have told me how many regulars are just not showing up to work. If the regulars ain't showing up to work just to spite the company as a whole, like where do we win? Where do we win? Because they say, oh, well, we got 20 regulars coming in, and we supposed to have 20 assistants or mail handler assistants or PSCs come in. But then all of a sudden, they say they're cutting the PSCs, no PSCs coming in, only regulars. Now, the regulars don't really want to work hard, and I understand that. But now they're saying they don't have no help. Well, screw it. If you're going to make me, the regular, work harder, I might as well just call out for the day. Now, who does that screw? It screws the remainder of the employees that are actually there. So it's just a nasty domino effect from each of our people. And I'm not making this stuff up. Just read the comments. Every place has their own scenario and situation, but it all narrows down to us, the worker, that is almost screwing ourselves, as well as the management not knowing how to manage, delegate responsibility, do proper strategies where they know they have heavier volume and make the mail move more efficiently, because you clearly see 88% showing up late nationwide tells you what? It ain't the truck drivers. It really isn't. It's the mail just simply getting on the truck. Now, I can't sit here and talk about myself being the greatest truck driver in the world, or Miss K being the best mail handler in the world, or my ex-wife being the perfect clerk in the world, or my daughter being the perfect carrier. But so long as everybody putting their best foot forward and doing their part to understand the bigger picture, a lot of these stations will not give you the big picture. They just focus on their little station, on what they're supposed to do there, but they never say, hey, every part of this has to work together. They only worry about their self and their bonuses, so nobody understands the big picture. So it falls. There's a break in the chain and it falls, and nobody's willing to pick up and piece it back together. So now we have somebody from the outside coming in to say, hey, you know what? Let's wipe this whole slate clean and start over from scratch. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I'm not going to babble on anymore. If I'm making sense to anybody, if I'm not making sense to anybody, just leave the comments. I'll try to answer what I could, but more than likely people are answering the questions for me because everybody has their own opinion on how this thing goes. Please be respectful in the comments, because we're all postal workers or aspiring postal workers, or you were a postal worker. So just have respect for each other. You see me? This is JH, and we out.